so as y'all know, and finally I'm so excited for this, we're reading the sequel to Yandere Slasher's ex-listener up in here, Yo Devotion. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be good. Oh my god, this is gonna get so good. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and read the whole thing that has been provided in the bottom, so you know we can get an idea of what we're getting into. So how can I have a favorite when I love you all? Really, I really, really, really do. Do you hear me? I love you all. Psych. This time, there's 7 slashers around. The sharp-tongued Freddy Krueger, the silent Mikael Myers, the mysterious Jason Voorhees, the timid Norman Bates, and the psychological Hannibal Lecter, the mischievous Ghostface, and the playful Pennywise. Can Wyan survive another round of crazed chaos and handle 2 brand new killers thrown into the mix? Can she successfully deal with them all? Who can say? Oh my goodness, it's getting good! Oh my goodness, it's getting good, bro. Oh hell yeah! Now let's get straight into the story. Alright, y'all. So we is in chapter 1, Worn Out and Weary. By the way, the beginning is yeah. It's basically what the end of the first book was. So I'm gonna go ahead and read it so we can kind of get up to date with it. Stop! Nobody is my favorite. I don't have one. How can I when? How can I have a favorite when I love you all? Really, I do. I really, really do not. Do you hear me? I love you all. Once you've revealed your true feelings to them, you realize that you were in love with not only 1 serial killer, but 5. And now it's about to be 7. Ah! My goodness. Alright, oh. By the way, I would like to mention, they started a 3rd book, so yes, we are going to be reading the 3rd book once we finish with this one. We're taking our time. Okay. Oh, I'm not ready for this awkward moment where we're just like, okay, I'm out. I'm out. I think so. This is how I would react. But anyways, silence shot across everyone like a heavy blanket. The arrogant Freddy, the childlike Jason, the mute Mikael, the shy Norman, and the smart Hannibal. All of whom were somewhat stunned by your sudden outburst. Oh, really? Well, all except the dream demon. He was far too full of himself to care about how stressed out you were. In fact, he just looked pleased with himself. Clutching your hair, you squeezed your eyes shut and fell to your knees. Bitch, fuck them, bruh. I'm telling you. I told you. You're dumbass. I told you time and time again. Like, to the point where I think my brain is malfunctioning even trying to think back to it. But I should look at my other videos to understand what I'm talking about. Like, I told you time and time again, girl. Fuck these bitches. Like, damn, just take Jason. Jason's the only one for us, bro. Okay. Forcing you to stay surrounded by the 5 slashers that had created a circle around you in Camp Crystal Lake. You had no idea what to say, what to do, how to act, or even how to feel. You were 100% lost, emotionally at least. Norman was concerned. Freddy was insanely smug. Miguel, absolutely obsessed. Jason, like a loyal little puppy. And Hannibal, clearly satisfied for some reason. Please do allow me to help you up. This bitch. I'm gonna smack that smug look at your face, Freddy, so fucking fast. Ooh! You are so lucky I'm not this character. Technically I am, but in a separate light. The dark-haired male gently bent down and offered his assistance, behaving as pleasant as he usually did during these chaotic events. Thanks. You timidly replied, accepting his help and holding his hand in the process while you slowly stood back up. Oh, I'm so happy! Norman bursted out in a bubbly voice, clapping his hands together for a moment before wiping his eyes dramatically. I knew it! I knew that you loved me! Mother bird, she told me so! She told me you did! Oh, give me a fucking break. The demonic slasher rolled his eyes and snorted, lashing out at the self-conscious boy once more. Wyan probably just said that it'd shut your dumb ass up and that's it. Hey, that's not true! Freddy. You sighed at his smirking face before shaking your head, wondering how on earth you were going to calm them all down. Stop trying to rile them up. It's not nice. I would say, you know what I would say? I would say, oh, don't worry, I said that for you too. I said that for all of you for the same reason. So don't act precious. Don't act special. Don't act special. Oh my goodness. Just ignore them when they start getting on your nerves, my dear. Hannibal interjected lightly, now wrapping his arm around your shoulders instead of just holding your hand. I do. It's getting really late. You should get some sleep. Jason hurriedly chipped in, worried for your mental health and overall physical condition, because he's the only one who cares. We love you, Jason. I agree with Hockey Puck. Okay. Miguel scribbled to you swiftly, insulting Jason without a second thought as he brought you into a tight cuddle. It's the middle of the night, and you look exhausted, Wyan. Oh, you don't say, fool. I thought I looked frankly fashionista today. I do feel pretty worn out, you wearily admitted, suppressing a yawn while also returning the stalker's hug. Tonight's silliness has been ridiculous. Oh, you don't say. In that case, I'll be seeing you in your dreams then, princess. Freddy blew you a condescending kiss before vanishing into thin air, his twisted laughter echoing in his previous place. Guess what? I'm taking a Hypercell! Ding, 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 ding. Really, guess what? I'm taking a high school cell. I think it might make more sense for you to get rest in one of these cabins instead of making your way back home. Hannibal mused thoughtfully, noticing how tired you seemed to be at the moment before any other slashers did. Oh, pretty sure that was Jason. Is that alright? Can I rest in one of these cabins? You worriedly asked Jason, concerned by how defensive he tended to become over these sorts of things. I promise it's just for a night and I won't damage anything. Jason clapped his hands together joyfully, excited by your question as he asked his mother for permission. When she kindly agreed, he became even more happy. Of course you can, he happily explained, striding towards and flinging his arms around you as a form of hugs. Thank you so much, you responded with such relief, returning the hug and cuddling into his chest. I really do appreciate this. Please, oh please, let me stay too. This bitch. Norman begged desperately, curling his arms around one of yours and cuddling into it. It'll be like a sleepover. Well, I guess if you want to. You dipped your head as a nod, feeling bashful while Jason pushed Norman away. Miguel, however, shook his head coldly, disliking the amount of attention you were giving Norman and Jason. Oh my, I think Miguel here may be a little bit jealous. Hannibal made fun of him in a mocking fashion, plainly wishing to aggravate the pale-faced stalker somehow. Guys, please, not now. Hannibal, know your place. You anxiously pleaded, growing unhappy as you stressed out again. Jason, Miguel, Norman, hell, even Hannibal can stay here if you really want to. No offense to you, Angelo mio, but I refuse to spend the rest of my night in such an abysmal environment. Please understand, Hannibal told you sweetly, throwing Jason a taunting glance as he held the palm of your left hand and pressed his lips softly against the tip of your fingers. Sure, man, and then you just let us sleep there too. Wow, just tells me just how, wow, bro. Wow. Just, wow. How dare you! Jason shouted at him furiously, smacking Hannibal against the cheek and therefore forcing the psychiatrist to stumble to the opposite side. Camp Crystal Lake isn't abysmal. Is this talent an abysmal? What the hell is an abysmal? Hold on, let me ask Google. Hold on. Hey Google, what is the word abysmal?
Abysmal has two different meanings.
Uh-huh.
Starting with the most common one,
Uh-huh.
abysmal can be used as an adjective to mean extremely bad, appalling, similarly to very bad, and dreadful.
Wow.
Is that the meaning you had in mind?
Yep. Well, now you...
Here's an example of how to use abysmal.
Okay.
The quality of her work is abysmal. Do you want to hear how abysmal is spelled?
No, thank you. And see, now we know. Now we know. Damn. You defended the lake at once, causing Jason to calm down and Hannibal to lightly chuckle. So don't say things like that. Oh, my flower. You're so pure. The dark-haired male hummed aloud, ignoring Jason and his festy attack entirely. I'll stay with you. Pay no attention to them, Miguel wrote firmly, passing it to you and demanding your full attention. Can we not start a fight over who's staying and who's not? You face-palmed fiercely, holding back a groan and knowing that Freddy would be growing impatient. Great. In that case, I'll be a proper gentleman and leave you in peace for tonight then, Hannibal decided in a mellow tone, bringing you into a soft embrace as he also tried to calm you down somehow. Hey, I can be a proper gentleman too, you know. Norman took the bait at once and lashed out at the psychiatrist, clenching his fist. So if Wyatt wants to rest here and stay in one of the cabinets, then so be it. She can. Leave her out of this, Jason snarled out hatefully, keeping you out of said argument and snapping at Norman instead. Sweet dreams. Hannibal kissed the top of your hand a second time and gave you a pleasant wave, before turning around, before completely leaving Camp Crystal Lake. Good night, Hannibal. You called after him quickly, making sure he made it back to the entrance without the others attacking him. Hope you sleep well yourself. You really should get some sleep now. You're not looking too well. Miguel passed a piece of paper over to you straight after Hannibal left. His concern making you blush faintly. Thanks for once again pointing out the obvious, Miguel. You shot back with sarcasm, returning the note before heading towards one of the camp's cabins. A heavy pink coloring your cheeks. Let's sleep together, you know, like we did back at home. Norman chimed in cutely. It'll be fun, I promise. Look, any one of you can spend time with me, you told them all tiredly, spinning around to face Norman. Okay, I just want to sleep, so please just let me pass out. Night, YN. I love you. Jason agreed in adoration, scooping you into a giant bear hug before nuzzling into the side of your neck. Then after a few minutes, Jason placed you back down and ruffled your hair, watching you enter a random cabin while he headed towards his shack. Norman, on the other hand, bounded through your cabin's front door and sat down on the bed, overjoyed by how he got to sleep next to you again. And Mikael? Let's just say Mikael was happy to be stalking you from the corner of the bedroom like usual. Of course, you made those two turn around before you switched into your pajamas. But apart from that, you brushed your teeth and climbed into bed, feeling nothing but fatigue by that point. In fact, you were so tired out that your eyes fluttered shut on their own. Good night, you guys. Hope you sleep well. You weakly mumbled, half unconscious as you easily fell into slumber. 5 boyfriends, though. Jesus Christ. How are you supposed to deal with that many? I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, like, I literally have no idea. Like, me? No, I have not had a boyfriend at all. Damn, I'm exposing myself. But I like to say, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. Our farmers. Yeah. So, that's what I like to say. Anyways, chapter 2, Dramatic Dream. Oh my goodness, not this bitch again. not this perro. Like, for real. Oh, your mischievous boyfriend purred into your ear from behind, curling his arms around your waist before hauling you into a very tight hug. Miss me? Because I missed you. I was gone for about an hour, Hugh dryly remarked, ignoring your thumping heartbeat and the dark shade of pink that colored your cheeks, so don't even try that on me. I wasn't trying anything. You just look a little agitated there, that's all. Freddie commented innocently, resting his chin atop your shoulder and nuzzling into the crook of your neck as he acted seductive. Maybe I look a little agitated because I had to deal with the crap from earlier, and I'm exhausted. Ever stop to think about that? You raised your eyebrows and allowed sarcasm to shine straight through your tone, hating how easy it was for him to pick up on your embarrassed emotions. Nobody said you had to admit your feelings to everybody before. The dream demon pointed out in a really condescending fashion, his warm breath fanning against your neck, whilst your blush brightened considerably. You could have just confessed to me and been done with it. Hey, there's no way I could have done that to the other. After all, I wouldn't have minded. Well, of course you wouldn't have. What's wrong, princess? You're what's wrong. You huffed in frustration, breaking free of his hold and spinning around to face him full on. Honestly, sometimes I think you behave like a jerk on purpose. You know that? The Springwood Slasher merely grinned at your outburst, his amusement growing as he snatched up your right wrist with his left and yanked you back. Who gives a fuck what you think? He maliciously mocked, brushing your insult off like it was nothing while still pressing your buttons. I do, you argued firmly, flashing him a fierce glare in return and standing up for yourself. So watch how you speak to me, got it? Maybe I'll think about it. Freddie lazily responded, his hold on your left wrist tightening considerably while his blood-stained claws caressed the side of your face creepily. Or maybe I'll just show you how much you mean to me. Show me. Confusion flooded through your thoughts as you echoed his words, curiosity distracting you from your current aggravation. And just how are you going to do that? His sharp metal fingernails stopped cradling your left cheek and decided to start stroking through your, brown-colored strands of hair instead, his flirty movements making you feel extremely flustered. Depends on how you want me to do that. He wickedly retaliated, moving his head to lean against yours and get extremely close. Oh, please. You rolled your eyes as if you cared enough to actually comfort me in a loving boyfriend-girlfriend way. What, you don't trust me? The demonic killer replied in a fake hurt tone, trying to appear somewhat harmless. Would you trust you? You shot back with an "are you serious" type of attitude, your heavy heart now speeding up after his gloved hand ran through your locks of hair. When I was alive, I might have been a little naughty, but you can still trust me, princess. Promise. He chuckled darkly, his hand releasing your wrist all of a sudden. Why, you ask? Oh, only to wrap his arm around your waist and act even more suggestive, of course. What is it with you? You sighed, shaking your head and giving it your best to remain calm somehow. It wasn't really working, but what do you mean? Freddie smirked, Freddie interrupted with one of his sly smirks, his sadistic behavior increasing by the minute. I haven't even done anything to you yet. I mean, what makes you think I want to do something with that provocative... Avoiding his glance, you stared down at the boiler room's ground and feebly clenched your fist, wondering whether or not what you were saying was the truth. You know I love you. The dream demon hummed obsessively, the bland thumb of his right hand brushing over your skin before raising your chin up. Ay. You have a funny way of showing it. Let me tell you. Would it make you feel better if I said sorry? No, it wouldn't. Good, because I wasn't going to. Freddie taunted childishly, entertained at the conversation the two of you are having without feeling any form of remorse or regret whatsoever. And you wonder why I think you're an absolute jerk. Shaking your head a second time, you hid a secret smile and held the top of his shoulder with both hands, finally seeing the humorous side of his little taunt. Wasn't going to? Asshole. Actually, I've never wondered that. The slasher spoke against your lips seductively, satisfied by how you were holding him. Because I'd never given a fuck. Taking no notice of Freddy's words, you simply pressed your lips against his and enjoyed his response, the waist holding becoming tighter and tighter whilst he lustfully kissed back. As this passionate kissing carried on, his gloved hand went back to cupping your left cheek and caressing it. The male clearly aroused. In fact, he was so aroused that he pulled away for a brief moment, clicked his fingers, and made a replicate cabin bed appear, pinning you down against the pillows and throwing you an unbelievably flirtatious look moments later. The making out and snuggling definitely made you forget about earlier. You left for Kruger showing without a doubt and cheering you up up during the process. Oh my goodness. I see a lot of symmetry going on. Oh goodness. I'm surprised I read that with a straight face. Ahem. Excuse me. How am I supposed to explain this to the others? You anxiously complained, clenching Freddy's familiar red and green sweater and cuddling into his chest for comfort. This is going to be like a repeat a month ago. Chill out, kitten. Tell him Freddy gave them to you. And so, just like you thought, Freddy had found your panicking to be particularly funny. Now, in the morning, you'd have to deal with a teary-eyed Norman, a pissed-off Mikael, and a furious Jason, all of whom would probably attack Freddy as soon as they got the chance to. And even though you didn't have a clue of how Hannibal would react, it didn't take much to figure out that it was most likely going to be a negative thing. You just knew tomorrow was going to turn out to be as stressful as it was yesterday. So, what were you supposed to do? Thinking back to the past, you bit your lip and let your mood fall, your thoughts clashing with one another while you wondered how to resolve said situation. Don't resolve it. Simple as that. Just let them be themselves. Let them do their thing and you just go shopping with your friends. And then this is a flashback. I don't like reading flashbacks because it confuses me as much as it confuses everyone else. This is a flashback whenever Hannibal, Wyan and Hannibal first meet. And they were the first ones that I met. First killer / us interaction that we've met. Well, no, actually it was Freddy, then Hannibal. And he was telling us how dangerous Freddy was and how it would help us. And then be like, we should stop messing with Freddy in general. We should not talk to him ever again. And blah, 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 blah. So, yeah. And then, yeah. So, anyways. Now we're back to present. I think I'm gonna get some sleep now, for real. So once you stopped thinking about the past, you used him as a pillow instead of the bed and let your eyes flutter shut, snuggling into his sweater, before I actually pass out. You're using me as a pillow? Problem? I'm just saying, we could still have a little bit more fun. No, Freddy, I'm going to sleep. Come on, you know you want to, bitch. No! No. We said no, we mean no. Alright, y'all, so it's in chapter 3, breakfast time. Good morning, my dear. Hannibal greeted you pleasantly, curling his arms around your waist from behind and giving you a gentle hug, while you began to make yourself some breakfast in the kitchen. And just how are we feeling today? Oh, good morning. You responded with somewhat of a quiet tone, feeling strangely timid as you interacted with your new intellectual partner. Then you became aware of something that surprised and threw you off entirely. Wait a minute. You stopped preparing some sandwiches for breakfast and swirled around, suddenly waking up more whilst realizing something. I thought you went home last night, because you didn't want to stay here and all that. And this is just a background, just him insulting it. And remember, we learned about abysmal and how it meant just a horrid, terrible, bad place. Yeah, thank you, by the way, Google. Thanks, bro. Anyway. I did, the psychiatrist politely replied, noticing your bewildered expression and growing silently amused. But as soon as you moved in with us, I took note of your previous waking hours and came to greet you this morning. I hope that isn't too much of a bother, dearest YN. Kind of weird, you know, kind of stalkerish, but okay. Not at all. You answered awkwardly, feeling slightly embarrassed that he'd go through all that trouble. I just didn't expect that. Oh, good. Hannibal smiled back as he continued to behave like a proper gentleman would. I'm relieved to hear that it hasn't concerned you or anything. It has concerned me. For real. No, I was just making some breakfast. You flashed a friendly smile in return and gestured towards the countertop. Your first meal of the day being a few sandwiches and a glass of juice. It's not very fancy or elaborate, but it'll do for a Sunday morning. Well, you're not wrong, though hopefully you'll return home today. I've missed you. He lightly told you, watching you move the glass and plate over to the wooden table as Mikael joined your side too. Good morning to you, Mikael, you dryly remarked, rolling your eyes at how he immediately wrapped one arm around your waist to tug you closer to him. And yes, I'll be going back home later this evening. I just want to enjoy some time with Jason after breakfast, seeing as I haven't really gotten to spend any time with him yet, you know. Who cares about a few trees and a stupid lake? Please come home. I love you, YN. We can spend Halloween together tomorrow. The stalker scribbled to you in his trustworthy notepad, acting as possessive as you usually did when it came to you. I know you love me, Mikael, and I so do not love you too. I really I do. So with that being said, I'll be delighted to spend time with you tomorrow. To spend time together tomorrow. You hesitantly calmed him down, giving Mikael a comforting hug before handing him back his notepad. Consider it a date. Then you sat down at the table, Hannibal sitting to your left and the silent male standing to your right. You're going to partake in such a pointless pastime? Hannibal wondered in a curious frown, confused as to why you want to indulge yourself in something as so useless and unimportant. Oh, damn. I'm assuming you have a reason for this. Nope. I've just always enjoyed Halloween. You brought up breezily, smiling while you started to eat. You don't always need to have a reason behind things to have a good time, I suppose. Hannibal sent you another one of his charming smiles and folded his arms atop the table, still entertained by your empathetic let me say this right for once. Characteristics and traits. Okay, kind of said it right. Maybe. Let me guess. You disagree? You questioned with a sigh, just knowing how uncaring and cool-headed your significant other could act sometimes. Please don't take it personally or anything, mi amor. The dark-haired male softly spoke. I'm just afraid such trivial tasks don't interest me. That's all. Gripping his kitchen knife, Mikael slammed it down into the wooden table, inches away from Hannibal's crossed arms, and glared at him viciously, causing you to jump at the same time. Mikael, what on earth was that for? You asked in alarm, now feeling incredibly anxious and uneasy. For acting like a pretentious prick, that's why. The mute killer wrote to you without a second thought, disliking the psychiatrist and his words. For merely voicing my opinions and reasoning behind them. Hannibal retaliated smoothly, not even flinching at the knife slam. That's a bit uncalled for, don't you think, Mikael? Before Mikael or you could reply, Norman bounded into the room, tackling you into a tight hug from the side before snuggling into your shoulder. YN? The timid boy called with complete and utter adoration. You didn't tell me you were up yet, silly. Well, you were still asleep and I didn't want to wake you. You hurriedly finished eating and faced him properly, giving him a warm embrace in return. That's all, really. Oh, Ryan, that's so nice of you. I sound like freaking Mickey. Norman praised lovingly, his eyes glinting with emotional tears at the edges, making sure that I got my sleep. And you could do the same too, but here we are. Of course I would make sure, you agreed affectionately, ruffling Norman's dark shaded hair, whilst also saying a good morning to him. Sleep is important. I love you so much. He cutely bursted out, his adorable attitude and graceful gaze causing you to eternally awe inside. And I love you too, you tenderly repeated, Norman being incredibly happy at what you said. Well, that was until he spotted your neck and saw the love bites. Why, and what are those? Norman's face switched into one of surprise, his eyes widening at the marks Freddy had left. Don't worry about them. Once you kissed his forehead, you grabbed your glass of juice and took a sip from it, deciding to leave a moment later. I just spent time with Freddy last night, and now I'm going to spend time with Jason. Nothing major, but what about spending time together? Norman wailed after looking unbelievably hurt. His cheeks painted a dark pink as he grew flustered by said kiss. I thought you were coming home today. And I am, you assured him quickly, patting his shoulder and standing up before making your way towards the cabin back doors. I just enjoy spending time with all of you. So we're not going to spend time together today? Norman wiped his eyes while following you, staring at you with a heartbroken expression. We are. Trying to soothe him somehow, you gave him a genuine cuddle and bit your lip, not knowing what to do. We can, oh, I know, we can spend this evening together. Really? Norman's tone turned into one of excitement. The shy boy thrilled by your offer. I'd love to. Then why don't you think of some more activities for us to do? You smiled in relief at his happiness and then waved goodbye to the three of them, exiting the cabin right after. Have a good day, guys. Thankfully, none of the three went after you, though Mikael appeared controlling. Hannibal's sweet smile didn't seem very sincere, and Norman looked a little jealous. Part of you felt a tiny bit bad on their behalf, but that was until... Wyatt, you're here! Oh my goodness. I love that we're spending time with our cute boy. Oh my goodness. Yo, I cannot tell y'all just how much I love whenever Jason's mentioned in the story, because, bro, he's the best one for us. I mean, damn. Like, Hannibal, he's fine. Hannibal's not terrible. But at the same time, he lacks certain things that I feel like should be there. I'm glad that he does, pay attention to certain signs that we're experiencing, but at the same time, I don't feel like all of them are not quite there. But it just depends on certain situations, you know what I'm saying? Like, Hannibal would be perfect for certain situations, but others wouldn't. Mika would probably be really perfect, but, it just depends, really. But if I had to choose one, I'd probably be choosing Jason, because he, to me, actually cares about our well-being. And I feel like if we stayed with him or stayed where he lived, he'd definitely be taking really good care of us. No cap. So, no cap. Anyways, Chapter 4, Crystal Lake. Good morning, Jason. You greeted with a soft-hearted smile, feeling pleased when the opposite male you picked you up and warmly whirled you around. How you doing? Happy now that you're here, Jason explained excitedly, hugging you close as he rested his head atop of yours in delight. Aw, I'm sure I can't be the only reason. You let out a light laugh and wrapped your arms around him in return, finding it cute that Jason looked to be totally overjoyed by your presence. The childlike killer simply shook his head, silently arguing with your statement while grabbing one of your hands and squeezing it. Let's take a walk around the lake, he brightly suggested, tugging you towards the gigantic, glimmering Crystal Lake. Though there's a reason they call it Crystal. Well, that's what I'm here for, you agreed happily, giving him permission to pull you over there with force. Apart from seeing you, of course. Hanging out with you is always fun. Why, Jason's voice dripped with endearment, the male clearly over the moon as he stopped walking. Hey. You comforted him as quick as you possibly could, rubbing the other side of his arms after noticing sudden tears sparkling at the edge of his eyes. We're here to have a good time, aren't we? There's no need to cry. I love you so much, I really do. The slasher sweetly cried out, growing even more emotional when you kissed him on the cheek. And I love you too. You smiled a second time and then slipped your fingers through his, starting to stroll around the lake with Jason once more. I really appreciate that you wanted to spend time with me. Thank you. I should be thanking you, cutie. Jason responded affectionately, ruffling your brown hair with complete and utter warmth. Aw. I don't think we need to turn it into a whole who should we be thanking for who situation now, do you? You tenderly decided, swinging his hand back and forth whilst the two of you carried on walking again. The golden glow of the sun shining through the silvery dark rain clouds. Wish you could stay forever, Jason mumbled under his mask, but he understood exactly what he said inside, feeling bad on his behalf. Guess it would get pretty lonely here. What with wanting to protect Camp Crystal Lake indefinitely and all. Though, believe me, you spoke in a gentle tone of voice, wanting to keep the atmosphere bright and bubbly. That would be lovely. It really would, but breaking a promise to spend time with you all would be pretty irresponsible of me, don't you think? No, he muttered moodily, his frame of mind changing and doing a whole, complete 180. I hate the others. I know you do, but you hesitantly trailed off, wondering how to fix his resentment. There's no way of fixing it. He don't like them, period. Isn't keeping promises better than breaking them? I mean, what if you broke a promise to your mother? Wouldn't that hurt her? You knew talking about his mother was a low blow, but how else were you supposed to control his childish thoughts? I guess. Jason huffed and flicked his head to the side, his blue orbs glaring at the grassy ground. Let's just have fun this afternoon, and forget about the others for now, okay? You directed the conversation away from said subject and tried to get him to focus on the lake walk instead. After all, isn't that why we're together? To spend time together. Just the two of us. Once the annoyed slasher had heard the two of us part, that's cute, Jason cheered up right off the bat, nodding enthusiastically before flinging his arms around you, the walk coming to a halt yet again. He nuzzled into your neck with absolute adoration, his loving hold on you causing your heart to skip a beat and for your cheeks to heat up. So far, apart from the wild mood swing about the other killers, the walk this morning had definitely been peaceful and placid. The warmth of the sun, the sweet hug from Jason, the serene scenery, heck, everything in Camp Crystal Lake was enchanting to you. Even the pleasant fresh air concocted a soothing atmosphere. As the time ticked on, so did the walk. Both of you chatted about cheerful and carefree things, such as favorite book, favorite foods. Such as favorite foods, can Jason cook, the games he enjoyed, what his mother was like, and if he had any other family members. The upbeat conversations were calming him right down, giving the Crystal Lake killer something to cherish, something to hold dear to his heart while you and him reached the end of the watery circle. Glancing upwards, though, your eyes suddenly noticed the early evening sky dawning down on the camp and silently telling you that you couldn't stay for much longer. This made you bite your lip, not knowing how to tell them, but you couldn't stay, even if you wanted to. Today's been fun. You shared your thoughts happily as a sad smile spread across your face, trying to make your departure less dramatic and much more bearable for your partner. It was, but I'm afraid it's time. It's time for me to go now. Hurt swirled around Jason's eyes, his childish tantrum rising to the surface a second like a raging storm, his hands grasping at your shoulders possessively whilst his gaze switched into a clingier one. Oh no, he snapped unstably. Not yet. You can't. It's only for today. You panicked, creating a promise to come back soon without a second thought, due to how upset Jason had already become. I'll be back before you know it. I swear. Don't you trust me? After he heard your last question, Jason grew moody and gripped your shoulders tighter, hating how he couldn't argue about trusting you. Of course I do, he grumbled, resting his head atop of yours and hiding his masked face within your brown hair. I do. I love you. And I love you too, you warmly commented. You know I wouldn't abandon you or leave you behind. I love it here, and I love spending time with you, so I'll see you soon, okay? Promise? The lonely killer begged in desperation, his hands falling from your shoulders as his arms curled around your body instead. Promise. Pinky promise? Pinky promise. Fine. Jason gave in sulkily, despising how, because you lived with the other four, they received more of your attention than he did. It just didn't seem fair in his eyes. How about this? You pause for a moment to mull things over in your head. I'll go to my uni classes on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and see you on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. That seem fair? Brightening up, Jason lost the sulky mindset and released his hold on you, clasping his hands together a second after. Yes, thank you. There we go. You shot him another loving smile before turning to leave. I guess I'll be seeing you on Tuesday then. Wait, he frankly called out, wanting your attention once more. What about Sundays? I think I'd just like to have some me time. You know what I mean? You mentioned in a mellow tone of voice, knowing that you couldn't handle constantly spending your days with each and every slasher. You'd go crazy. I think we're already going crazy. Okay. Jason dipped his head as a nod and gave you one last tight hug, allowing you to leave right after. See, that's how it should be. I gotta have me time? Okay, I understand. Boom, done. After he returned the hug, you kissed him on the cheek like earlier. Jason brimming with joy and waved goodbye. The wholesome male waving back with content whilst you walk towards Camp Crystal Lake's entrance. He is the babe. He's the boy. Oh my goodness. I can't believe we're already in chapter 4. Dang. It is like 1 a.m. for me while I'm currently reading this. And yes, before y'all say anything, I will be sleeping right after this. I promise y'all. By the time I'm recording this. I promise. It's just one of Leslie's late stuff. I do this only once in a while, I promise. Anyways, how do you guys do you guys like the fan fiction so far? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm absolutely in love. I've already read all of this before y'all read it, because I'm already in book 3 of this. I don't know if there's gonna be a book 4, but I've been hearing some little like tweeties telling me about book 4, so we'll see. They're currently working on book 3, so I'm like super excited. And before y'all ask why I don't do it at the same time, it's because it would get confusing and everyone would get confused. So that's why I'm gonna also separate these by I'm gonna put probably the same title, but I'm gonna make sure I put book 2, book 3, so no one would get confused. No one will get confused. So it will help everyone out and kind of not confuse so many people. You know what I'm saying? And at some point, maybe after I finish with all of the stories and that's fully completed, I might combine them into one ginormous playlist. Maybe. I might be thinking about that. But that's like futuristic type of things we're talking about here. Get your votes in as soon as possible. I believe I already have up to 30 votes going on currently as I'm reading the story, but it's probably gone up way higher by then. But choose the one of the options where you would prefer the most, and the most votes of 2 fan fictions, I will be reading those, okay? So the vote is again gonna work a little differently. Instead of just one story I'm gonna read the top, the most highest one, and the second highest. I'll be reading those 2 stories to whoever it was designed to, quote unquote. So we'll see who's gonna be the winners. We shall see. I'm so excited. Oh my goodness. Never more excited in my life. Also, if you guys want to go ahead and see for the new playlist of this and kind of keep track of it with this story, here's the playlist for this fanfiction. Again, separate playlists, so like I said earlier. So you guys can, keep track of it or save it. So, yeah. Yes. I know I'm amazing. Also, if you guys have any suggestions on what books I should be reading in the future, or just any suggestions, let me know in the comments down below, because I'll be hearing y'all out. I'm definitely going to be hearing all of y'all out. Don't worry. Don't worry, I will be hearing all of you out. But anyways, sadly, your girl's gotta go before she leaves. I hope you guys like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more new amazing videos, guys. Y'all better be doing all that. Y'all better be. Y'all better be. Y'all better be. But anywho, without further ado, your girl's gotta go. Make sure you do not stay up as late as I did. Don't make bad decisions like I am. Please, please. But anyway, bye and peace.